Every legend begins with a trace, a name carried through time, and a fear too ancient to forget. Tonight that name rises from the deep. In the deep waters where forgotten myth still whispers, some creatures refuse to disappear forever. Tonight, we return to one of the oldest and most terrifying sea legends ever told. This is the Leviathan. What makes the Leviathan different from most mythical creatures is that it doesn't feel like a story owned by just one world or one culture. The name reaches us through ancient traditions, but the idea behind it, a colossal sea being representing chaos, appears across multiple civilizations. In the ancient Near East, the sea was often seen as more than nature. It was a force that could destroy life without warning, so people gave that unknown fear a shape. In older regional myths, we find echoes of a chaos serpent known as Lotan. Across the ancient world, sea chaos myths often echoed each other. In the Ugaritic traditions, the struggle against a chaos serpent reflected a deeper fear. That order could collapse at any moment. In later biblical imagery, Leviathan becomes a symbol of overwhelming power. Not just a creature, but a warning that nature's deepest forces are not meant to be owned or controlled. Different eras, different languages, but the same human instinct to give the unknown a name. A massive sea creature associated with disorder and destruction. This image strongly foreshadows later traditions where the Leviathan appears as a symbol of the untamable deep. Over time, the image evolved. Sometimes the Leviathan was described like a serpent, sometimes like a dragon of the deep. But the core remained the same, an ancient force tied to the sea's chaos, a reminder that the ocean has its own rules, long before humans tried to name them. In the Hebrew tradition, the Leviathan becomes one of the strongest mythic representations of the sea's power, not only a beast, but a warning that some forces in the world remain beyond human control. Different names, different contexts, but the same core idea. The ocean is not something you conquer easily. Descriptions vary, but many stories agree on unforgettable details. The Leviathan was said to be so immense that it could coil its body around an island. Its skin was described as armor, hard enough to resist blades and stronger than iron. And its roar was not just a sound, but a force, powerful enough to split the sky in two. In many accounts, the Leviathan wasn't treated like an animal you might encounter and fight. It was treated like the ocean's true identity, its storms, its fury, its endless hunger. So when sailors spoke of the Leviathan, they weren't only describing a monster, they were describing the sea itself in its most terrifying form. Now imagine the ancient world at sea. No engines, no accurate maps, no certainty about what waited beneath you. The ocean at night was an endless black surface hiding a depth no one could measure. And in that world, strange events didn't need scientific explanations. They needed stories. There were tales of ships suddenly pulled beneath the waves without a storm in sight. Stories of enormous shadows gliding silently under the surface. And the most chilling image of all, a single glowing eye staring upward from the abyss. Some accounts read like warning notes passed between crews. Short, nervous sentences. Coordinates scratched into the margins. A common pattern in all of them. Silence before disaster, and fear of what could move beneath the surface without ever showing itself. Even if some of these sightings were shaped by fear and exhaustion, the emotion behind them was real. because fear is one of mythology's greatest engines. The Leviathan's power was not only physical, its meaning was larger than its body. Across many mythic frameworks, the sea represents chaos, the unpredictable force that challenges order and survival. So the Leviathan becomes the face of that chaos. A reminder that human beings do not control everything. A reminder that nature does not negotiate with pride. And what's fascinating is how the Leviathan's image kept adapting. Sometimes it sounded like a mythic serpent, sometimes like a deep-sea dragon, sometimes like the shadow of a creature too large to imagine. That flexibility is exactly why the legend survived. Because the Leviathan was never just one thing. It was a mirror, reflecting the fear each generation carried when they looked into the sea. This raises the question people still ask today. Was the Leviathan real? But the deeper question might be, why did so many cultures need a creature like this? Because the ancient sea was the greatest unknown on Earth. It could feed you, it could carry you, it could erase you. So the Leviathan became a way to give shape to something too vast to fully understand. Ancient drawings, old maps, and sailor journals kept pointing to the same idea. Something enormous lives in the deep. Something we were never meant to disturb. Something that was never meant to awaken. Even now, the Leviathan remains one of mythology's most powerful sea symbols, because the ocean still holds that same presence. We understand more of the world than ever before, yet the deep sea remains one of the last places that still feels truly unknown. That's why modern stories return to the same pattern: a silent giant beneath the waves, an ancient force waiting below, a creature that doesn't hunt out of evil, but out of nature. Real or not, the Leviathan stands as a mythic reminder of how small we truly are before the silent, endless depths of the sea. It represents fear, but also respect. Not the kind of respect you offer a ruler, the kind you offer a storm when you realize you cannot command it. So the next time you look out at the ocean and feel that strange mix of awe and unease, you're experiencing something ancient, the same emotion that built this legend thousands of years ago. This is Mythorex, and this was the Leviathan. Until our next legend.